Alright, y'all, we are back with another prediction video for UFC 273. I'm only going to be doing 3 fights because some other fights, they don't really catch my eye. Like, one of them, well, Ian Gary is a high prospect, but it's not like I'm going to make a prediction on him. But I do think he'll win by TKO second round. Um, Kelvin Gastelum having to pull out due to injury, which sucks because he's never pulled out. He's the one that's always filling for people that pull out due to reasons and all that kind of stuff. So that took a huge toll on the card. I really wanted to see Kelvin Gastelum get a win because he's like what 1-5 in his last fights, but they're against such high level competition. Whitaker, Cannonier, Israel Adesanya. Even though he did lose to a old Chris Weidman still Chris Weidman. So yeah, and then yeah, this just McKinney's Dern and Torres. Not really an interested fight for me. I do think Dern's gonna submit her in the second round. She'll have to wait and take her time to find her rhythm with the takedowns because Torres is a striker, good striker for a female fighter. So it'll take time for I think for Dern to try to get her takedowns. Then she can submit her. Maybe do in round one, but I think she'll do it in the second round. Submission round two. Now let's get into the fight, the people's main event. Hamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Dorino Burns. This fight is such a 50-50 fight because we know how good Burns is and we know how good Hamzat is. This is the ultimate test for Hamzat. If Hamzat does not pull this off, it's not gonna be a good day for him. He has to rebuild his hype train up. He has to get like at least three or five fights in order to get his hype train back up or even getting it back to a title shot. So, but then Dana also said that if he wins, he's not going to get the title shot. He has to go through Colby Covington first. I think that'll be a very interesting fight. But then that could also be a fight where people will put Colby as a big underdog because we'll have to see how this goes down. If Burns cannot take Hamzat down, it's not going to be good for Covington, I believe. Burns is not a pure wrestler like Covington is because Burns is probably the best grappler in the welterweight division. He knows how to use his Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He knows how to wrestle. Covington and Usman, they know how to wrestle, but they don't submit people that frequently. So, but Burns, his chin, he's not known for his chin. His chin is not that good. He gets knocked out way too easily. He just doesn't have that chin where he can endure power punches. And Hamzat, I think he has some power, some KO, one punch KO power. And if Hamzat clips him and wobbles him, it's done. He's either gonna go for a takedown, slam him, and then choke him. I don't think choke him. Well, if you're rocked while getting taken down, you'll have some time to recover, but it's gonna be hard, especially when Hamzat loves to take your back when he goes for those takedowns. Burns needs to make sure, even though he has the reach disadvantage, he has to keep that distance. Make sure Hamzat does not get his rhythm and find his combinations and open up on Burns and then clip him and finish him. Hamzat just needs to watch out for Burns' power too, because we don't know how good Hamzat's chin is. That's the thing. This is why this fight is so interesting. Even though Hamzat is 11 ranked contender and Burns is number 2, this fight is still very interesting because we don't know what's going to happen. People think that Hamzat's going to destroy Burns. I don't believe that. I think it will be a very competitive fight until Burns gets clipped. He gets clipped by Hamzat, I think it's a done fight. So my prediction for this fight, I have to go with Hamzat, man. Burns just doesn't endure shots well. Like I said, I'm going with a KO round one. Anyways, let's get into the rematch. Aljamain Sterling versus Petr Yan. Now, ever since that illegal knee, I believe people have been underestimating Aljamain Sterling. They act like he's a bum, like he's some unranked guy who never was like a high level fighter. Aljamain Sterling is still a high level fighter. Now, there's some people who just think Jan is just too good, and I agree. Jan is so perfectly balanced, man. And Aljo was putting on a pace on Jan, but if he cannot do that same pace in this fight, Jan's gonna jump all over him. Jan's not gonna throw a legal knee this time. He's going to try his best to knock out Aljamain Sterling, I believe, because Petr Yan has a grudge towards Aljamain, and I can understand, man. When you lose your belt like that, even though at the same time it is your fault, but then you see him just gloating around with it, saying, "Hey, I'm the champ, I'm the champ." But then at the same time, Aljamain also been doing that just to troll the fans and the haters for them to get mad, and it's working because he's getting all this attention, and his plan is to win, so his stock rises up even more. If Aljo doesn't win, it's not going to be a good look on him, man. All the talk he's been doing at the press conference, at just all the interviews he's had, it's not going to look good if he does not win. He has to win. And the way I think Aljo can win is if he gets Jan's back early. But at the same time, when he took Jan down, I think it was one out of 19 takedowns that he got. He only got one takedown, and he didn't even get it that long. I think it was in the second round. No, it was the first. It was the first. That's right. It was the first, and he didn't do anything with the takedown because Jan's get-up game is so good. His defense, his wrestling is good, and his counter trips, throws that Jan does, they're disgusting. That's why Aljo had so much problems with him, because he couldn't figure out, what can I do to this guy. He couldn't do much with Jan. Jan read the data and then started destroying him in the third and fourth round until he threw that illegal knee. Now I think Aljamain can use his creative, unorthodox striking again, but Jan has already had the data, so he knows some of your moves. So he needs to come out with something unexpected, something that Jan hasn't seen from him before. If he just comes out the same way he did, it's not going to be good. I believe he's just going to get knocked out cold. Well, not out cold, but he'll get TKO'd probably. He needs to come up with something different, like I said. Mix it up with the striking and get his back. You could do what Charles Oliveira did to Poirier. Didn't even go fully on that takedown. He went for the takedown, got around his back, climbed on that, and then made Dustin tap. He didn't even go fully for that takedown. He just attacked your back because Oliveira's so good at that. And I think Aljo can do that to Jan too. But we haven't seen Jan. Have we seen him on his back? Actually, yeah, I think we've had. But it was before he was fighting in the UFC. And I think that's the way Aljo can win. But Petr can win in so many different ways. He could finish Aljamain, my bad. He can finish TKO him. He could possibly submit him too if Aljo gets really, really gassed. And then he could beat him by decision, unanimous decision. I think this fight can be a 5-round war, like Sandhagen versus Jan. If Aljo can have that 5-round cardio pace, I think that can be a war, and it could go down to a split decision or something like that. But we don't know. We don't know what Aljo has done to improve himself. We'll have to see the fight. All the talking he's been doing, he needs to prove it, back it up. But my prediction, I think I have to go with I want to go with Aljo because I want him to shut down all the people that've been just clowning him. Because there's this one Instagram post, he posted a picture of his mom saying "Happy Birthday, Mom," and people in the comments were putting clown emojis, fake champion. I bet your mom isn't proud of you for being a fake champion, etc. He was just making a post about his mom. Happy birthday, mom! You're the best mom ever. That's all he did, and people clowned him and all that kind of stuff. I want to see him shock the MMA world and get that belt legitly. If he does that, it'll be a good day for him. But if he doesn't, it's not going to be a good day for him. So I'm going to go with Aljamain, but I'm not confident with that prediction. I think he'll get a round 2 submission. I'm not confident, but I think he'll get it. I think. I'm not confident, though. I think because it's not good. It's not a good opponent for Aljo. Jan's just too good, man. But I'm going with Aljo. All right, let's get into the main event of that evening. Alexander Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie, also known as Chan Sung Jung. This fight, I believe, is going to be closer than people expect. The betting odds, I believe, is 700. Volkanovski's like a 760 minus favorite, and Korean's like plus 500. That's some disrespect on the Korean Zombie, man. He's been a veteran. He's been in this game. Like he says his experience will be his advantage, which I think that can be too. But Alexander Volkanovski is just too good with his feints, his leg kicks, able to create that distance with the weird reach he has, because he has a longer reach than Holloway. Holloway looks a lot longer than Volkanovski does, but he's able to use his reach to his advantage, even though he has a half an inch disadvantage, which is not really a difference. So, if Volkanovski decides to take this fight to the ground, I believe that's going to be the wrong way of trying to win this fight, because Chan Sung Jung, he has some good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He can submit Volkanovski. He's not a Brian Ortega type of level, but he can possibly submit Volkanovski. I don't think Volkanovski should go the wrestling route. I think he should strike with Chan Sung Jung, outpoint fight him, and get that unanimous decision win. But Chan Sung Jung, his counters are crisp in the first 3 rounds. He's able to stand in the back, wait, and counter. His hook uppercut counter, that could catch Volkanovski. Because look what Holloway did. Holloway caught him with a head kick and an uppercut that put him on one knee. And Holloway does not have power. Like, he's not known for having knockout power. Chan Sung Jung has knockout power. If Korean Zombie hit with what Holloway hit Volkanovski, I don't think Volkanovski would have got up that easily, man. He probably would have been on some wobbly feet or knocked down, and Korean Zombie trying to finish the fight. Volkanovski ducks his head way too much when he goes for like overhands and all that kind of stuff. And if Korean Zombie times that overhand perfectly and hits him with the uppercut, Volkanovski might not be able to survive that, man. Chan Sung Jung has that threat, that one-punch knockout power, because he's a huge dude for the featherweight division. I think he weighs like 170 naturally, so that's a big dude for the featherweight division. But that's so is Volkanovski. Volkanovski used to be 210 rugby player, so there's really no difference there. But actually, speaking of that, I think Volkanovski could TKO Chan Sung Jung. Chan Sung Jung, he has the chin. He's known for his chin, but all the damage he's been taking, I think his chin has degraded, man. And I think Volkanovski can catch him with something and put him on wobbly feet and then finish him, TKO him. I don't think he will knock out the Korean Zombie, but I think he can TKO him. But then the feints that he's going to be doing, if Korean Zombie does not do well with the feints, it's not going to be a good day for him. He's going to be trying to be guessing, what can I do? And then when Volkanovski actually goes for those actual punches, so those feints, it might confuse Zombie and catch him by surprise, him, drop him, or something like that. Chan Sung Jung needs to make sure he does not bite into Volkanovski's feints. But that's what City Kickboxing does so well, is those feints. They make you bite onto those feints. Because what Israel Adesanya did, when I was rewatching the Paulo Costa fight, he did this so well where he feinted the leg kick, made Costa bite for that feint, and before Costa could reset to his normal stance, he leg kicked him immediately. Because it was an unorthodox stance for Paulo Costa. He can't just recover and try to check the kick immediately after trying to reset, because he's thinking, oh, he didn't go for the leg kick, so I'm going to go back to my real stance. All of a sudden, boom, leg kick. And Volkanovski can do that to Korean Zombie. But Korean Zombie needs to make sure he has 5-round cardio, but if he slows down a little bit with Volkanovski is just going to outpoint him in the 4th and 5th round. So, my prediction for this fight, Korean Zombie has a high chance of winning. I think by like 45%, but I'm going to have to go with Volkanovski. Volkanovski is just too good. I think he's the future featherweight GOAT. But that's my view. Because who knows, Holloway could take that and ruin Volkanovski's streak. But I'm going to have to go with Volkanovski. I'm probably going to have to go with a unanimous decision. Even though he could potentially finish Korean Zombie because he is looking for that finish, I think he'll just have a unanimous decision win. But alright, that's my predictions for those 3 huge fights that might change the MMA world forever, because if Hamzat wins, it's going to explode. Burns wins, hype train is done. Aljo wins, that's going to explode the MMA world. If Jan wins, it's not going to have a really difference, but it's going to be making those guys who believed in Aljo, they're going to be like, I told you, Aljamain is just trash, and he's not good, he's nothing, he's a bum, etc. But if Korean Zombie wins, explode. South Korea is going to explode. You'll be seeing posters everywhere about that man, and that'd be one of the biggest upsets, in my opinion. But if Volkanovski wins, that's just another title to his defense. And then it's probably Holloway 3 next. If he does that, I think he has the case of becoming the greatest featherweight of all time. I think he'll have to defend against people that he hasn't rematched, because even though if he defends his title against Holloway already, I mean the second time against the trilogy, people are probably gonna say, oh, he fought the same person 3 times for the belt in a title fight. That's just stat compiling, etc. People are going to say that. People don't give Volkanovski his respect. I give his respect. He's a great fighter. People think that he didn't win the fight, the second Max fight. I believe he did. If you look at the significant strikes, he outstruck him by a little bit. Was it close? Yes, it was close. I understand people's point of view of Max winning, but I believe Volkanovski edged it out for that split decision win. But anyways, this is my predictions. I'll see you all in the video where I'll post my reaction to the whole card of UFC 273. Peace out.